and welcome back to my channel, TorAthena, where today I'm doing a comic book review. Do you remember that thing that I used to do? Where I used to read a comic and review it? It's been so long, even I've forgotten. But yes! Today I am doing a comic book review. Or 3! I spoil you. So yes, today I am back to my old tricks and doing a comic book review. I have really enjoyed reading comics today, guys. I've missed doing it. It's just purely been time and finance and everything around me that has made it unable for me to do them as regularly as I did last year. Even today was against me. I had a hairdresser's appointment and I wanted to go pick up my comics beforehand, read them while they were dyeing my hair, and it would be amazing. And it's been a bank holiday Monday, so therefore, for some unknown reason, comics are never out on time on a Wednesday. I rang up and they went, yeah, you're right, they're not out on time, but it's actually going to be even later than usual because we have another delivery we have to process first. I was not okay with this. I had to do something that I'm massively against in my shop and as a collector, and I downloaded them. Not illegally, I paid for them on Comixology. But usually I don't like that as a collector. I like to own the physical copy. I feel like you don't get your money's worth, but it actually saved my bacon today and I was able to read comics while in the hairdressers, and therefore I can review comics. So you can't see any of the physical copies today because I don't have them. But I did read them and that's what counts. So let's begin with the reviews. Okay, so my first comic is Dungeons & Dragons Shadow of the Vampire by IDW. Basically, this is a brand new story which you can read all on its own. You don't have to be introduced or comfortable or knowledgeable about the Dungeons & Dragons world. But it does have recurring characters from games like Dungeons & Dragons and Baldur's Gate, which is bringing back Minx and Boo, which are the big warrior and his little tiny hamster. And basically these seem to be mercenaries for hire and they are off on one of their first adventures / jobs in the comic series. A lot more happens. It's very funny. It's fantasy meets comedy meets epic adventure, and I thoroughly enjoyed this comic. Pros! I've never read a Dungeons & Dragons comic, so I can hand on my heart say that you can pick up this comic and just, you know, read it. If you understand the characters, as there are some that are from other stories, you're going to know a little bit more about them and you're going to be more involved in the story. But I didn't, and I was able to read this perfectly fine and I really enjoyed it. It's funny, the art is brilliant. I just really loved the story. It's full of fantasy, and if you love fantasy and epic adventure, you're going to love this comic. Cons. There isn't really a con personally for me. I genuinely did think this comic was really enjoyable, but if you're not into epic, saturated fantasy, this may not be the comic for you, but I wouldn't say that's a con. I'm just saying more preference choice. This comic may not be for you because of that. Overall, I really enjoyed this story. I'm definitely picking up issue 2 to see where it goes, and it's really funny. Fitting along the theme of comedy this week is my next comic, Deadpool Massacre by Marvel Comics. Months ago, Marvel brought out a comic book called Deadpool 3.1. This was a comic that was released purely in Spanish, and it was revealing a new character called Massacre, who was the Deadpool of Mexico. I kid you not, this comic exists, and now they have, through popular demand, translated it badly into English, which is actually really funny because they actually already admit they wrote it in English, then translated it to Spanish, but now they are just badly translating it into English through some third-party language translator online, and it's hilarious. Like, you must know that any other writers and artists who work for Marvel are so jealous if they're not working for Deadpool, because no other comic can have fun the way these guys do. And basically that's kind of the story. I can't even do a pros and cons to it because the pros are that this is geniusly brilliant and hilarious, and the cons are that there isn't another comic like this. You know, I want more. So yeah, it's brilliant. I loved it. You have to read it. It's kind of more of a shout out that you should pick up this British comic and pick up the Spanish version as well. I've actually just found out about it because of this comic, and I picked it up because, hey, I love Spanish and I want to learn Spanish, and this is brilliant. And it's my pick of the week. The visuals are really hard in this video. Yeah, it's my pick of the week, and it's Space Battle Lunchtime by Oni Press. Written and drawn by Natalie Reese. An Earthling is whisked away puns, into space to be entered into a TV show where they compete to be the best chef in the galaxy. Pros! It's fast-paced. The art is super cute. At first, I didn't think the art would necessarily be for me, but as always, anyone who watches my videos knows that I'm a great fan of art that matches the story or theme, and it did so much that it turned my opinion onto this style art, and now I loved it, and I thought it was perfect, and it was super cute and amazing. It was just, perfect. It was funny, it was entertaining. I flew through this comic. Literally, I sat down and read it in about 10 minutes. It was amazing. Cons. There aren't any real cons. If I had to dig deep, I'd probably say that the girl doesn't really react very realistically towards being abducted. She just kind of like, oh, well, I'm doing this now. Which, to be fair, that's the style of story. It's not serious, it's funny, and it wouldn't be right in theme to be critical of the fact she got abducted and gone into the galaxy. So even that's not a con. It's just a great story. It's my pick of the week and you have to read it. If I could only subscribe to one comic this week, this would be it. Well, that's it. That's my comic review done for this week. So we're on streak 1 of this year, so let's see if we can get a second video up next week and break a record for 2016. Thank you so much for watching. Have you read any of these comics yet? Are you going to read any of these comics? I highly recommend you do. They're all brilliant. And thank you so much for watching. I've missed doing this so much. I will see you all very soon. Monday video. I will see you on my Monday video. And yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.